Everybody ready? Let's warm up. Hands at your waist, turn your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Expand your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Waist exercise. Interlock your fingers. Look at the heel of your opposite foot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Airplane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Touch toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be careful. Shift your weight. Kick your foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kick your butt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Heisman, opening up our span, parallel feet, choose one side, cross and sit on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Short one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're doing our golden cockerel. Remember that when we do Tai Chi, we have good posture. You can show me your good posture, which is dropping your shoulders. Middle fingers to the side seam of your pants. Hollowing out our chest, butt tucked in, head straight up, but chin slightly down. Our tongue is on our palate. Because there's motion now, we're going to be practicing our golden cockerel. We cannot have our feet together. For the energy to flow, it should be at least a block in span, block of the tile. We know that when we do a golden cockerel, one hand comes to the center, the other hand comes to the side as if it were pumping down as a counterbalance. So let's try it. We're shifting our weight to the left, bringing up the front hand to counter and center. Our left hand now comes to the side and kind of pushes down as we come up. Okay, so that's important. Shift your weight, come up and pump down as we bring up our left foot. Golden cockerel stands on its left. And shift your weight, center and pump down, golden cockerel on its left. All the time remembering that our center of gravity is 2 inches below our navel, called the dantian. One more set. Now when we kick out, we need to follow our kick, but the other hand needs to counterbalance so it cannot come out in the front but towards the back. Left hand, left foot up, kicking out, counterbalancing. We're going to hold our ball, okay? Okay, so you're going to listen, and you've heard it before, but try to open up your minds to get something new or something that you've left behind to clean it up and refine. When we are on a T stance, we're rooted down heavily on our back or right foot. We are rooted here. This is where all our energy is stored. Our left foot is a placeholder. It has no weight or hardly any weight with it being on its toe. Our left foot is ready for action because we know that a weighted foot cannot move. Only when it's unweighted are we able to come out and to the side. We know that when we hold our ball, our left hand is on the bottom because the bottom hand advances. If you were to twist it, there's no way that our right, okay, so left foot, left hand, bottom hand advances, left, left, left ready to go, left hand ready to go. If you were to change it and your left foot is ready to go, how is this going to come out? Or are you going to put this top hand? So there's a misalignment, okay, a missync. All right, so we're weighted down on our right. We're on a T. The size of the ball is chest on the top, 2 inches below your navel on the bottom. When we come out and to the side, we come clearly out. Bottom hand advances. We part the wild horse's mane on a bow stance. Bow stance because right now your feet and your legs are mimicking a bow and an arrow. Front foot is a bow, the left or back foot is an arrow with no buckle in the knee. When you sit back now, your weight shifts. You sit back on an imaginary stool, so it's back and down. Then you twist on your heel. For better balance, you're holding your ball, left hand on the top, right hand on the bottom. Out on an L stance, heel, turn the hips and waist, bow and arrow, bow stance, present your snack without going forward. Sit back and sit down on that stool. Then pivot, form your ball for better balance as you root down and present your T stance. Out on an L, bottom hand advances, and present your snack. Here it is. Okay, I want you to get all of those elements in. Sit back and sit down on that stool. Then pivot or twist. Then form your ball as you form your stem of the letter T. We're taking it slowly. I'm going to add another element. Out on an L, bottom hand advances. At this point, the left knee opens and turns and rotates to present a snack. We're going to go over this again. Sit back and sit down. Pivot. Root down. Hold your ball on a T. What is that new element? We're going to come out on our heel, bottom head advances. The right knee opens and rotates over the heel and down. Sit back and sit down. Twist. Form your ball on a T. Looking for that new element. Out and to the side on an L. Open that left knee, turn your hips and waist. Bow stance, where's your bow and arrow? And are you leaning to the front or are you upright in your Tai Chi position? Is your knee not beyond your toe? Sit back and sit down. Pivot. Start to form your ball on a T stance. You're fully rooted and your ball is in the center of your body, not to the side that you think you want to get ahead to go to the left. It's centered. Your power is on your right or back leg. Out on an L, bottom hand starts to advance. Open that right knee, then turn your hips and waist. Present your snack. Is your hand that's presenting the snack at least at eye level? And do you have a bow and arrow where the right knee is not buckled and is it at a 45 degree? Is your posture still good so that your silk silver thread is holding you erect and not pushing you forward where your hand is? If so, you may sit back and sit down. Then you pivot. Then you form your ball as you bring in your T. Now don't forget to open that left knee. Out on an L. Open and get that momentum to turn your hips and waist to say bow stance or part the wild horse's mane. Sit back all the way, sit down on that stool. Then pivot. Then shift your weight, form your ball on a T. Okay? So now you know that you gravitated back. Okay, so you're gonna have to make that adjustment, come a little forward, just the way I'm doing, okay? For the 10 form especially, and some of the 24 and the 16, there is a tendency, and it's by just natural movements, that we tend to go back. So you're gonna have to make that adjustment, especially when we perform, such as on World Tai Chi Day, you find yourself moving backwards. All right. So the new element leads us into what 24 stands for, especially laying the groundwork for Tai Chi Walk. So if you can watch what I'm doing, perhaps you can see what I was trying to get at. I'm on a T, I'm rooted down. I can never be rooted down if I'm standing straight, and this is poor Tai Chi posture. I need to relax those. I need to relax my shoulders, therefore my butt can be tucked in, therefore my chest could be concave. If I'm straight ahead, this is straight up, my butt is not tucked under, okay, and my shoulders are not relaxed. Therefore, it's natural to then root down and it's almost as if you're sitting down in this position. The power is all on this area here. We need to bring it across and distribute it. The only foot that can move is the weightless foot, or the foot that has hardly any weight. Left hand matches with my moving foot, left. Out and to the side, my bottom hand advances, my knee starts to turn outward, and then it rotates my hips and waist, and it presents into a bow stance, the bow and the arrow. This is not a good arrow if it's buckled. It's ready to be thrown out. It will never get to your target, okay? So you want to keep that up, but not so severe that it locks it, but it should be straight. So this is a good bow and arrow, bow stance. If you have a tendency to shoot forward, more than likely your knee is beyond your toe. If it's beyond your toe, you're going to make that adjustment, and it's not going to do you any good, okay? So you need to bring it up and keep upright with my silk silver thread. I also called attention to where is your presenting snack. Sometimes there's a tendency to keep the snack too low. It's not eye level, it's way down here. You want to keep it at eye level so that at least you can see the tips of your fingers as you look outward, okay? So these are some of the things that I want to go slowly through, remind you and reinforce it, because if you make the transition from the 10 to the 24 and you do a really good job, the 24 can carry you to the 16 and help you with all of Tai Chi and even with the 10 form. So we say, some of you say, well, it's an accomplishment and a goal once you learn the sequence and the formation, mainly the sequence and timing. But beyond that, Tai Chi is way a lot more than that. It's refinement and how the principles and the basics are laid down, okay? So some of that we're going to have to retract a little bit and fix it up all the time. All right. What I'm going to do now is we're going to take a bird's eye view and do the 24. And I know there are many in here who don't know anything about what the 24 entails. But it's to give you an impression of what the 24 is and how hard we're going to have to work to get to where we want to be. It would be foolish for me to say and guarantee you that Yang 24 can be learned in 10 one-hour sessions. There is no way. It's a long journey. But right now, what we're going to do is give you the experience of doing the 24, realizing, yes, it is a challenge, but it is doable. Okay? It is doable, but we have to take little increments. And even after we do little increments, we're going to have to return and revisit and refine and reevaluate. But at least we're starting in that direction to have a big accomplishment. So so this is Yang 24. I'll call out as much as I can. Don't be afraid of trying. And you're not going to be perfect, and I'm not perfect, so who cares? We're on our journey. Okay? Good Tai Chi posture, Yang 24. Commencing form. Slowly drain the weight off of our left foot as our heel comes up. On the ball of our foot, on the toes, open, up, down on our toe, on our ball, on our arch, on our heel. Hands rotate to the middle of our thighs. Take a deep breath in as we elevate both hands. At shoulder level, we push down the water that we drew up, dropping our shoulders, elbows, wrists, flexing our knees, holding our ball, left hand on the bottom, right hand on the top on a T stance. We're going to part the wild horse's mane. Out onto the side, part the wild horse's mane, bow stance. Here it is. Sit back all the way, pivot out, hold your ball, right hand on the bottom, out on a heel on an L stance. Here it is, part the wild horse's mane 2. Sit back all the way and sit down on that stool. Pivot out, hold your ball for better balance, L stance, part the wild horse's mane, 3 and final. Half step forward as you hold your ball on your toe as a half step. Spin that ball to the left as you sit back on your back foot. Drop your right hand. Place your left hand to the side. Lift up your left foot. Set it down on its toe, and this is called white crane, spreads its wings. We're going to drop our front foot as we bisect our right hand below our navel. We're going to put a parallel and higher, and we're going to brush our knee like the 10 form. But we're going to step out, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee, 1. Sit back all the way. Pivot out, parallel and higher. Step out on the L stance, brush your knee, 2. Keep that hand in the front at eye level. Sit back and sit down. Pivot out, parallel and higher. Ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist. Final, brush knee, 3. Half step means you take that back foot and put it on its toe. As if you're steering something, sit back on your back foot. Rock your front foot to its toe. Set it down on its heel. This is called playing your lute or the peepaw. We're going to repulse the monkey, so we're going backwards. We're going to drop our front foot to flatten it. Left hand stays to the middle of our body. Our right hand comes up higher. We're looking at our back hand, just like the 10 form. We're lifting our left foot up as we bring our hand to our ear, put it on its toe, put it on its heel into its ear, pivot on the ball of our foot of the right or front foot, and pull back and push forward. Repulse of the monkey, 1. Now 2, center, higher, lift up, bring it to your ear, then your toe, then your heel. Pivot on the front with the ball of your foot as you meet both hands in the middle. Repulse and pull back. 2, center, up higher, look at it, lift, ear, toe, heel. Pivot to the ball of your foot, meet in the middle, slide back, push forward. Last one, center, higher, lift, ear, toe, heel on a crooked position. Pivot on the ball to meet, slide. We're not going to pivot, but this time I'll let you pivot to slide, and you're going to hold your ball on a T stance. No different from the 10, we're going to grasp the bird's tail, rooted down on our right. Out on an L stance, ward off. Push your opponent by using your forearm, but then yet flip that hand and join it and grasp the bird's tail as you look back. Turn, then square, then contact at your wrist to push him out. Separate both hands, roll back and sit down. Push up and then forward. Bow and arrow, fingertips to be seen. Sit back and sit down. Pivot, center, hold it on a T on your ball. Ward off on an L, forearm him away. But yet flip them down and grasp the bird's tail gracefully as you look back. Then turn and square, then contact. Push at your wrist to spread out. Roll back and sit down. Push up and push out. Sit back, pivot, cup at your dantian area at 12 o'clock. Turn to your 9 o'clock. T stands 12 o'clock. Hook the backhand, look at it. Left hand across your face. Step out on L stance. Turn the palms, single whip. We're going to be into cloud hands now. This is a transition. Sit back, twist, cup at 12, parameter 1, cloud hands. 12 o'clock, cup. 10, 9 o'clock, flip the hands, close the stance. 12 o'clock, cup. 2, 3, flip and open. This is rotation 2, 12 o'clock. 9 o'clock, flip and close. 12 o'clock cup. This is rotation 3, cloud hands, middle. Turn the hips and waist, move them. Cup. Now we're going to hook the back hand, left hand across the face, out on an L stance, push out, single whip. Half step forward means to your toe. Sit back on your back foot, open up your palms, right front foot on its toe, no weight. We're going to pat the horse up his mane, cross at the wrist, step out, palms down, heel down. Up with your right foot, right hand on the outside, kick out in line, in, drop gently to your heel, look through your fisted hands. This is called double punch, fisting the opponent at his ears. So you know what the size of a face is usually. That's where your fisted hands, the span it takes. You won't see me, but try your best to listen. Sit back, turn by pivoting on your heel, left hand on the outside, left foot coming up towards the clock, looking, and kick out, making a hook. We're going to be a serpent. Don't worry about it. Come down. He's in the grass, setting there, coming up. Golden cockerel stands on its left. Toe down. You're going to see me. Hook hand. We're beginning a serpent the other way. We're going to split. We're going to drop. We're going to come out. We're going to set. We're going to shift your weight to the front foot and be a golden cockerel. We're going to put our heel down. We're going to hold our ball. We're going to put our heel down, go the other way, and work the shuttles by being a maiden. Sit back, pivot out, hold your ball. Pivot to your left, and the maiden shuttles on her left. Bring the back foot to the back on a half step. Set up your top or right hand, and we're going to go to the bottom of the seat to find a needle. We'll bring it up, and we're going to flash our arms like a fan. We're going to sit back. We're going to fist our hand. We're going to deflect, then parry and punch. We're going to strip. Open our fingers. We're going to roll back. We're going to push up and then forward. We're going to close our form, apparent closing. Sit back, twist and turn, open and open, in and in, off the ground to embrace the tiger with the right hand on the inside of our cross as we bring up our tiger, rotate on our wrist to push out, separating our hands. As we close our form, we drop our shoulders to make ourselves small, and we bring in our feet, the opposite of commencing form. Okay? So that's a lot, right? And even for those who know it, I know that they're in here so that they could improve, and we have already started to improve in that we started an element in which we said, basically, we opened this knee to power up that energy to flatten here. Watch again. This is a sit back and sit down on my imaginary stool. I pivot out as if I'm zigzagging. Now I need to be in an L stance. I open this knee to power up and come down as if I'm going over the hill and setting down nicely. This is basically the footwork for the 24 and the 16, which is often referred to as Tai Chi Walk. When we practice our Tai Chi Walk, we're looking for really good, exact posture. If we have good posture, then that would allow our energy or our chi, our internal energy, to flow in a correct way. If we don't understand and don't care about the posture, more than likely that energy will not distribute the correct way, and will do nothing for you, okay? So we're going to try it for size. We're going to follow me, listen to me, and see if we can understand what I'm trying to get at, okay? Hands at your waist, good Tai Chi posture. Pivot out on your heel to the right. At this point, our hips and our waist need to be addressed to our right foot. So can we try it again? What do I mean? When we pivot out, our hips and waist turn. It's not, watch me, it's not coming here and then here. It's one motion. Therefore, okay, people who didn't see me the first time, I do not want you to do this and then this. It's completely wrong. It's not what I want. It's not what I said. So therefore, to do it correctly, and you're watching first, when you pivot out, the body as well as the whole system, neck, face, chest, shoulders, hips, and waist, move to the outward foot. I should not see one hip here, straight ahead to the parking lot, and one hip addressed to there. I need to see both hips. All right, ready? Good Tai Chi posture, 50-50. You're straight ahead. You're centered. You're going to distribute your weight so that it's on the left to allow us to pivot and turn to the right. Then put your hands at your hips and right like mine and say, are they addressed to the right? They should be. Go back. Good Tai Chi posture. Pivot out, move the system, the hips and the waist. Flatten out on that right foot, okay? You got your hips there. You're on a 45-degree now with the right, and it's weighted down. Therefore, the right cannot move. The left foot, it's on its toe. It's going to make an L stance, out and to the side. But did I move my body? No. So I'm here. Get back again. Turn to the right, move the hips and waist. Flatten out so that the left foot has no weight. I asked you to put your heel out on an L stance. Do not move your hips and waist. It is weightless on the heel, almost weightless. Now, turn your hips and waist, then flatten out. Look straight to the parking lot or that fan. You are now in a bow stance. Make the adjustment to a 45-degree in the back foot. I know mine is not that 45. Actually, it's not a 45, it comes out. Okay, bow and arrow. Sit back and sit down. Pivot to the left. Move the hips and waist. Shift your weight. Weightless foot. On an L. Then turn the hips and waist. Flatten out. 50-50. Bow stance. Sit back and sit down. Therefore, that left knee bends and flexes. Pivot on the heel. Make sure your hips are in this direction. Heel. Then open and turn and flatten. Bow stance. Sit back and sit down. Pivot out, make sure the hips and waist are both in that direction, left. Heel, no turning. Open the knee and rotate as if you're going over the heel and then down. Bow and arrow. Sit back and sit down. Allowing us to go right. Hips and waist addressed to the right. Heel. Now open the knee and turn and flatten. Bow stance. Sit back and sit down. Pivot out, making sure those hips, two hips, facing the left, heel. Then turn and flatten, bow stance. Internalize what you're supposed to do. Not going to talk. and you're going to continue while I watch. How do we do it perfect? When you come out on an L, you have to ask yourself, once I set this foot down, am I parallel to the line of the floor or am I on the line? What I am seeing now is my old students are not coming out this way. This is not an L stance, it's already pulling my knees apart. So can we be careful? I want you in my class. I want you to learn Tai Chi. I don't want you to tell me your knees are hurting, okay? So to say it in a summation, to come on an L stance, we need to be on a line or parallel to the line so that if we drag the foot back, there is a gap. This is an L stance. We do not want to come here and draw it back and hit our back foot. But the hinging element to that is that the foot, once it comes down, has to be parallel to the line. It cannot swerve out. You're thinking too far ahead. All I want is a simple L stance, okay? So to do it nicely, I would do this. I would somehow open that knee as it still has all my energy, to allow me to come over the hill and back down on a bow stance. Beyond that, we sit back and sit down. So here we are on an L stance, or a bow stance, sorry. You come back, you draw back, and then you plop down. You don't think about plopping down and then you'll get all tangled up. So you're going to have a good bow and arrow. You're going to draw back. Make sure this is now flat. Straight rather than a buckle, still a buckle like this. You're going to come back and you're going to sit down. Weight stored in the back, energy in the back, to allow me now to pivot out. I do not want to get into an L stance. I want to pivot out. Firm down. Make sure that the hips and waist are this way. I know you're going to go this way, so sometimes this hip wants to stay this way. The hip should not. You're forgetting a big element. Shift both hips to the outward foot, in line. Then an L, I know that this is an L just from experience. My hips and waist and whole body then flatten out and addresses my outward foot. Tai Chi Walk. Pivot out, address hips and waist to the outward foot, flatten down. Shift out on an L, turn the hips and waist to the outward foot, parallel or on the line, both stance. Sit back all the way and sit down. Pivot out. Address your hips and waist, shift your weight, L stance, move the hips and waist, bow stance. Okay, you're on your own. Sit back, twist out. Okay, sit back and sit down, pivot out, address your hips and waist, heel on an L, turn the hips and waist, flatten down, bow stance. Sit back, twist out, shift your weight, out on an L, flatten down, turn the hips and waist. sit back and down. Pivot out. Address your hips and waist. Heel on an L, down. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, address your hips and waist, then heel on an L, bow stance. Okay, one more. Sit back, sit down, out, address your hips and waist, shift your weight, heel, down. Give me a good sit back and then you're done. Okay. All right. I do see an improvement. I'm very fortunate that all of you are very smart and willing to change and have an open mind. So let's keep up that good attitude, okay? You can move back to your positions. We've got a few minutes. A lot of people hate Tai Chi Walk. It is strenuous. However, look to the other side. Be patient with yourself. If the groundwork is laid really firm and correctly done, it'll take you for an infinite amount of time in your journey to learn Tai Chi. But to learn it slightly incorrect is going to defeat the whole purpose. And the reason why I say that is timing, okay? I'm going to try to do something wrong here. The wrong thing about it is if I'm on a L stance, I flatten. It's wrong because the energy is still stored back in here. The correct thinking and physical show of it should be out on an L stance. Energy is still here because there's hardly weight here. The energy has to physically, and you need to feel it coming through here, then coming through your body to flatten here. If you should not understand this and you came on an L, perfect, but you decided that I want to flatten this because I know that's where she wants me to be, and then turn, you're going to run into difficulty, big difficulty. So I want to catch that early. Also, no matter what you do and you do it wrong, there is going to be repercussion. So say you finally got this guy and you say, oh, I know Tai Chi Walk, it's so easy. But you forget the L stance and you're bowing your leg out this way. It's no good. You got to keep it parallel or on a line. So there again, you're going to mistreat your knees. Okay?
Well, first of all, it's a good beginning, I must say, and keep working. What I want to talk about has to do with intellectual understanding of Tai Chi. You're doing all the mechanics, and Lucille is explaining, but there's a guy named Yang Cheng Fu. He's the last of the Yangs that are almost historical in nature. He was a guy he died in, I think, 1938, but he was the guy that began the revolution of shortening forms and making Tai Chi more available to people outside of relatively closed societies or groups. And he had, and Lucille has it online now, and you can also look for it online, the 10 Essentials of Tai Chi. It's not the only codified set of, quote, rules that you should try to adhere to, but it's one of the standards. And it's there. It's time, I would encourage all of you to read that, some of which you will understand, some of which you will not. Sometimes you will understand intellectually, but it's tough to put into practice. But I'm just going to allude to one of them. What you're trying to, or two of them. One of them is trying to distinguish between substantial and insubstantial. Tai Chi has a routine or a method of establishing what is very firm, substantial, and the other leg and foot is insubstantial. This allows for good grounding And that goes into dantian and goes into how you put your weight, all of that stuff. But from there, you move on with your insubstantial foot to the next movement. For instance, in Tai Chi Walk, this is substantial when you finally sit here. This allows you to open. Then you shift your weight substantial. And then you can bring the insubstantial up so that you're looking in this direction. And then you can lift it up and come out. Okay? It takes strength to establish substantiality, and it takes practice and time, but it takes up here to remember that's what I am trying to do. Otherwise, what happens when you're beginning and you're here, you don't have the strength to, once you lift this leg up, you say, oh, I gotta drop down. But over time, you should be aiming to say, here, substantial, get up, everything is substantial here. This is insubstantial, this can take the time to come down. And that's where the beauty and also the control of Tai Chi. You're here and you just come down. At the beginning when you start, you hear this clunk. And when you hear the clunk, you know your differentiation in substantial versus insubstantial is not quite clear. So you need to work on that. Another one he said was to try to combine the upper and lower body so they work together. So they work as one unit and they're moving all the time. I'll give you an instance where it is not moving, right? Or in time. You're here, down, and then you turn. Okay? What you should be doing is out, here, here. Everybody's moving. There's some part of you moving. Otherwise, you don't get the coordination of smooth transfer of your power, your chi, etc. But just to get back to 10 essentials of Tai Chi, his concept, or a lot of the other people, in spite of what type you have, Yang, Chen, Wu, Hao, all of those have the essentials of Tai Chi in them, in terms of if you apply the essentials of Tai Chi, they're applicable to all Tai Chi. Okay, so I would.